Hello and welcome to episode 39. Dame is Top Dollar. I'm Harry from Hoopinions and I've got Ben with me right beside me. We're in the studio.
We're raring to go. Let's go.
Dollar.
Dollar time, baby.
Let's start straight off with Dame Dollar, the man himself, Damian Lillard, straight into the record books. Again, hasn't he? There's so many records getting broken at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good season for that. We've had Jokic, we've had Luka, we've just had some insane games. We've had Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I was about to say Dono got up there as well.
Yeah.
But Dame has come through. And, it's one of those weird things, right, where, it's impressive, but when you look at how many people have had 60-point games, it's a pretty small pool.
Yeah.
But technically, and it's still pretty cool, Dame has the most efficient 60-point game in all time.
Yeah.
For NBA, at least.
Absolutely cooking. So, he's not just chucking shots up, he's hitting all of them.
But Portland's in 12th. Does it matter?
Yeah. I think that's the question. I mean, look, they did kind of blow it up a little bit last season. Trade away a lot of their pieces.
Was it a blow up? It sounds like they were like, oh yeah, this is a great idea. We've got to do a quick little reset.
Yeah. Honestly, it's hard to tell what the Blazers are doing. If they're trying to rebuild or still hanging there when they've got a player like Dame who's still able to drop 60 a game. It's kind of hard. Yeah, they lost CJ, who's doing well in the Pelicans, but
I thought it was a great move, honestly.
Yeah, I just don't know what the Blazers are doing. They're kind of sitting around that rebuilding, I guess, position in the standings.
They're like the Wizards.
Yeah,
they have a great one player,
yeah,
and then the rest of the teams just kind of poo-poo.
Yeah, so I guess what do you think about Dame? Do you think he's eventually gonna ask to walk, or is he gonna stick around?
I think he's a great player, but he's 32.
Yeah. There's only so much of his career left.
This last sort of extension was really his last chance to go anywhere. And we've heard rumors that he hasn't been happy, but then he went and signed an extension.
Yeah.
And obviously he must have a hand in how the current roster is being built, you'd hope. I don't think they get rid of CJ without Dame's approval. I don't think they make the moves that they make without Dame's approval. I hope.
It's true.
But I just don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't know what Dame expects. Dame seems to be fairly loyal.
Yeah, he's definitely, out of the current players, especially with how frequently they're moving around these days, he's one of the rare cases of really sticking with his team.
But I just don't know. Look, if he's happy making the bazillions of dollars that he's making in Portland, then, good on him. Not everyone wants to win a chip, and at the end of the day, he's making life-changing money. So I wouldn't blame him if he's just happy, just balling out. It's one of those things, right, where it's would you rather be the best player on a bad team, or would you rather be an equal player on a good team? Yeah,
I think some players are more than happy to be the second man or share the load, but some of them
some people like to be the man.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And he's clearly showing that he is the man on that team. 60-point performance.
It was a great game. It was against the Jazz, which it's is it a stain? It's not really a stain. It's still impressive. But I would be more impressed if he got it against a better team.
Yeah, I mean, the Jazz have been better than expected this season, but it's still not saying that much when you drop 60 against them. So
Jazz are still 10th.
Yeah, they're still kind of hanging in there.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, he was incredibly efficient, fantastic scoreline in the history books. We think as an individual, Dame's an amazing player. I just don't see where he's going to go with. Again, it's a cool stat line, but it doesn't change anything to the fact that the Portland Trailblazers are fighting for a play-in position. Yeah,
because they've made a couple tiny moves in the offseason. They got Gary Payton off the Warriors and things like that, but they haven't made any moves. So, but yeah, no, like you said, it's good to see Dame cooking again, because there was definitely this period where he just dropped off, partly injury related. So it's good to see him back and absolutely just firing away. Dame time. I'm tapping my wrist, doing the gesture.
But he's 32. How old's Harden at the moment?
Harden's older than that. He's probably around
Is Harden 34 or 38?
I want to say 34. He's not quite 38 yet. That's more like LeBron's age.
33.
33, yeah, 33,
So
34.
So like I would say that there's been a bit of a drop off with James Harden.
Yeah, I'd say so. He's definitely past his absolute peak. So.
Well, it doesn't help that he's really struggled with injuries since going with the Nets and hasn't really had a chance to show what he can do when he's healthy. And he does have flashes on Philly where he does go pretty wild. But like if Dame's at 32, like the window for him to be at the level that he's at for much longer is rapidly approaching.
That is true, but you do get players, I mean, I guess it's a rare case, but like Curry, who's older than Dame, and still just absolutely balling. So I think as a shooter, you still can be super valuable to a team. It's not like athleticism
is Curry and LeBron an exception to the rule, though?
I mean, yeah. I think
like,
so.
Look how, like, even this year, like, what, Chris Paul's 35?
I think he's older than that.
Is he older than that?
Yeah.
I don't know people's ages. Chris Paul.
When they've been around that long, it's kind of hard to tell. I think he's probably close to like 37 these days.
37.
Oh, boom, let's go.
Straight on, 37. Because he's dropped off. Like, he was looking well at the beginning of his Phoenix Suns run, and then he's sort of just dropped off a cliff recently.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix have been plagued with injuries, including CP, Booker, etc. So that's part of it, but...
So, yeah, you know, Dame might have another couple of years, maybe, at the pace that he's playing. Yeah. But around the early to mid-30s is where we'll start to see some sort of drop, unless you're LeBron.
I mean, yeah, but that's a total exception to the rule. So
it's a complete exception.
Yeah. I
want to talk about the Lakers.
Yep.
The Schmakers. I needed a good name for them.
The Fakers.
Oh, but that's I don't know if we should be supporting. Is that a Skip Bayless name?
I don't know. That might be true. We can call them whatever we want them to.
Did you hear the kerfuffle just before we rip into the Lakers? Did you hear about the kerfuffle with Shannon Sharp talking smack to Ja Morant?
I did see that, and Ja's dad got up and everything, and
it was a whole thing. And I need to go check out Undisputed and see what he said. Apparently, he apologized about the whole.
Yeah,
incident.
I think they're cool now, but it was a pretty funny interaction though from the sideline.
I think it's that sweater though. Did you see the sweater?
Yeah.
That thing was a monstrosity. I would have been smack talking him too if he wore that to my game.
That's fair. I mean, look, props to the man for like talking beef while wearing that, because that's certainly a bold move.
What do you think about people from the sideline getting involved?
Well, actually, it's funny because I literally went to a basketball game recently, and I was saying how engaging it is as a fan to be able to like boo and stuff like that. Generally, I'm all for sportsmanship. I think booing is generally a bad thing, but basketball is one of those rare occasions where the crowd is such a crucial part to the atmosphere in the arena, and I think like that is a positive. But when you get to the point where like it's just straight up just like disrespectful, like it's really just like not the right thing to say, like Utah have got a bit of a history of saying the wrong thing to Russ and things like that. But yeah, it's part of it.
What if the players on the court are specifically trash talking you as a spectator? Does that give you more of an like? Does that? It doesn't make it right, but does that mean that you're allowed to talk a bit back?
I mean, if they're talking smack to you, of course, you got to reply to that, right? Like, you can't just let that go. I think if they're ignoring you, then, like, yeah, whatever.
To be fair, I would not be smack talking Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer for the NFL.
Yeah.
2-time NFL champion.
Yeah, he could turn me into a pancake, so I wouldn't be messing with him.
That man still lifts.
Yeah. But look, I think it's just kind of common sense. There's a point you reach where it becomes too far. I think it's an important thing. I don't think they should be cracking down on it too much because I think the fans need to be part of it. But if it gets to the point where it's just like straight up like being like racist or anything really wrong,
at the end of the day, he's on the sideline.
Yeah. I think it's part of it.
I don't know. That's a hard one. Because
I mean, like, even there was a quote I saw the other day that, like, LeBron was being heckled. And obviously, he's probably one of the guys who's been heckled the most in history.
Had to get pulled away because the guy made fun of his hairline.
Yeah. It just seems like there are certain topics that, like, really do still get under players' skin. Even though, like, LeBron's status, he's probably heard it all. But obviously, there are still certain things that do get to him. So
I guess it's one of those things where it's like there should be a little bit more leeway if the players are, like, actively seeking it out back.
Yeah.
Like, smack talking back, but then if it's just a one-way thing, then I think that the protection should go to the players.
Yeah, I think that's fair because you do see a lot of ones that are actually kind of lighthearted. It goes back and forth, and everyone has a laugh after.
Yeah, you see, like Kevin Hart is a good one. He often like talks a little bit, and everyone has a laugh about it.
Yeah,
Drake is another one that I think pokes a bit of fun, but doesn't overstep the bounds or keeps it in a way that like they have to laugh it off, or they can be like, damn it, he made a good joke, like, you know. So it's I just thought it was interesting. Look, we love the drama, and I think that's the other problem, is that there's 82 games in the season, and obviously the drama really picks up in the playoffs. And as we've talked about before, I think the NBA's major issue, there's two issues. One is that officiating is very inconsistent and needs a complete overhaul. With people that will actually like stay consistent. And I don't know what they do as a refereeing organization. Like, do they trade notes? Because the fact that you can go from town to town and get completely different calls is just, in my brain, is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
very inconsistent.
The other problem is that you need to try and work out a way to make these 82 games mean something so that people tune in.
Yep. It's a long, long season, so they need to keep that retention of like interest the whole way through.
So while Shannon Sharp getting involved the way he was probably it was inappropriate. The fact that he had to get dragged away by security was inappropriate.
Yeah.
What the hell would have happened if he actually got close to Ja?
Man.
Imagine being like your whole livelihood is watching basketball and you are banned from the Lakers arena.
That'd be pretty wild.
That'd be pretty wild. But at the same time, good, like any publicity is good publicity, and there's not much else happening for the Lakers at the moment.
That's true.
So
I think one last thing. I think it's also part of home court advantage. I think that's why some heckling, some things like that are part of it. But yeah, to a point.
So the Lakers traded Kendrick Nunn to the Wizards for, is it
Rui Hachimura? Yeah.
Ah, yes.
So,
which was very, very funny timing. Funny timing because literally like 2 days before this happened, Rui?
Rui, yeah.
Rui was like saying how he didn't want to be at the Wizards and he wanted to play for someone that wanted to have him, and basically just yelled to the world that he didn't want to be in the Wizards. And then instantly, the Lakers were like, "Here, we'll give you some, you know."
Yep. I want to hear your thoughts in a second, but I actually like this move for a couple of reasons. One, Rui, I think, had a good start to his career. Maybe like second year he was doing quite well, but he's kind of dropped off a bit. He's not getting the same minutes. Part of that was just him not playing. But I think in terms of like the roster, Kuzma's like kind of that top dog now on the Wizards in terms of the forwards. So they're not utilizing him to his potential. So at least he gets a chance on the Lakers.
Kuz came in and pretty much took all his minutes.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to wear this baggy sweater. I'm going to come in and still run this town. But secondly is that the Lakers already have acquired multiple Wizards players in the last offseason. So they've got Thomas Bryant. They've got, I think it's Troy Brown Jr. or something like that. They've got a few guys that Rui's at least got some
and
connection with.
Russ.
And Russ as well. Of course, who can forget Russ?
They played quite well together. Russ, off memory, used to find Rui quite often when he was playing with the Wizards.
So, honestly, the chemistry factor, I think, is a good thing. So
yeah, I actually don't... Look, I think that maybe the Wizards could have got a little bit more for him. Kendrick Nunn doesn't blow the scale for me with any... Like, at least Rui's got potential.
Yeah.
But it was just like, you know, they sort of had to get rid of it because they were just didn't have the space for him. But look, if that's where... But I guess also maybe taking into account that maybe that's where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, then props to the Wizards for putting the player first. And like they probably could have got a little bit more for him, but they put him somewhere where he would be happy. And if he wants to play with Russ and those other guys, then good on him. Yeah. I think it does make the Lakers better, but does it fix the Lakers' woes?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, Rui had a good start. First game out, 12 points, 6 rebounds, got an assist and a steal, efficient shooting. I think it's an improvement. I think they definitely need better shooting. Probably some better forwards to back up LeBron because the dude can only carry so much. But I don't think it fixes the problems.
No, because LeBron's been playing like a crazy man again. He had 46 points in the Clippers loss the other day. He's still... I don't know how he keeps doing it at the age that he is.
It's actually insane.
But he's the only one doing anything.
Yeah.
And the other issue is that there was a game last week where the Lakers were playing the Philadelphia 76ers. They were down by 2. Do you want to take a quick guess on who decided to take the clutch shot?
I mean, I think it should have been LeBron, but I'm guessing it was Russ.
It was Russ. And I love making fun of Russ, but he's been really good off the bench.
Yep.
A considerate improvement.
Yeah.
And he has been he'll start off the bench and he usually closes. But basically, let me give you a scene, right?
Paint me a picture.
Russ, 3-point line, dribble, 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 pulls Embiid out, gets Embiid on him, dribble, 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 tries to blow by Joel Embiid, the big J man, the big Joel. I hope I got that the right way.
Yeah, you did.
The big J dog.
Yeah.
The big Tower of J. And he tries to blow by Mr. Embiid to go for the game-tying layup.
Yeah.
Why do you think I would have a problem with that?
I mean, look, first of all, at least he's not chucking a three, so that's a positive.
No.
But, I mean, Embiid is a really good rim protector. It's probably not the call. So.
Why, if you've got you're playing Philadelphia, I don't know, I can't, look, I'd have to go look up exactly who else was on the court, right? But if you've drawn Mr. Embiid away from the rim, why the hell aren't you passing it?
Yeah. Yeah, make the most of him being away, get someone else inside without the rim protector in there, and get a better shot.
Why the hell were you, and why the hell does Russ think that he could blow by someone that's
guards
younger?
Can blow past bigs usually.
Russ used to be able to blow by people.
Yeah, not the same anymore. So.
I wouldn't be trying to blow by Embiid.
Yeah.
I would be like, yeah, we've got him, keep him there.
Yeah, make the most of the other mismatch, because if Russ has got Embiid on him, then the Lakers have a big on a small guard.
Somewhere.
That's an easy shot inside. So.
You'd hope so, or at least move the ball. There was time that he had like 15 seconds, 10 seconds of just dribbling, and then I don't think it was a foul. Embiid blocked it and disrupted the shot. Some people thought it was a foul. I didn't. I thought it was a close, but not quite enough. And the end of game report said it wasn't, but people disagree with that. But anywho, at the end of the day, it was poor decision making, and that's, I think, part of the Lakers' issues is that they don't have good decision makers.
Yeah.
Like if Russ is taking a clutch if Russ is the clutch shooter for the team, he's got poor decision making. He's not going to make the best decision.
Yeah. I mean, part of that probably stems from the coach being, I guess, less experienced. Maybe they haven't got that same, game plan that some of the other teams do with the more experienced coaches. But yeah, I think a lot of it's personnel as well. They don't really, other than LeBron and maybe AD when he's actually he's coming back, at least off the bench now. But
thank goodness.
But yeah, they don't really have the options, so no surprise that they're sitting where they are.
That ball should have been in LeBron's hands.
Yeah. At least it wasn't a air ball mid-range from Russ. So we'll take it.
but if you draw Embiid, come on, have the awareness to go, cool, if I've got Embiid, there's space in the paint.
That's true.
But like that man was just looking at Embiid and looking at the rim and wasn't looking anywhere else.
Just tunnel vision.
Typical Russ tunnel vision.
Yeah. We did just mention LeBron, otherwise known as King James. I want to quickly touch on the Kings. I have touched on them before, but I just want to shout out, they are in third currently in the West, which I think is the highest that they have been in at least a decade. So they're honestly playing well. 7-3 in their last 10. Sabonis still leading the league in rebounds. Remind
me, what's the bet we have on the Sacramento Kings?
What the bet is. I can't remember if we actually end up putting a locked in bet.
I thought we were making a... We'll have to go listen through our old episodes.
Go through.
We made a bet
everything else on the board here.
We made a bet about the Kings.
Yeah. I think it was Cinnamon Challenge if they don't make the playoffs. I think
it was something like that.
Because I'm backing them. Because currently they are first in the league in points per game, third in assists.
You said they were going to stay in the top 8 or the top 6, and I said put something behind it.
Yeah. I'm saying they're making playoffs. So yeah, top 8 pretty much. So I'm still backing. I'm riding with them.
Play-ins. There's a distinction.
Okay.
Will you commit to top 6?
I'll commit to top 6. I'll commit to
Cinnamon Challenge top 6. Write it down.
I'm backing them. I mean, look, just for context, they're third in assists per game. This is up close to teams like the Warriors and the Nuggets, who we know are notorious for their ball movement. They're actually ahead of the Spurs with Pop. This is like the ball movement team. So I think it's just been a shift in their play style. Obviously, personnel change is helpful as well. No, I don't know. No, you're going to eat your words. I'm not going to eat any cinnamon.
If the Sacramento Kings make the top 6, I'll do the cinnamon challenge.
Ooh, okay. Now we're on. Now I'm writing this on the board right now.
So if they make top 6, I will do the cinnamon challenge, throwback.
Yep.
If they are not in the top 6, including play-ins, play-ins is out of the top 6. So from 10th to 7th,
Yep.
You have to do the cinnamon
I'll
challenge.
back that. I think we need to put some respect on these teams that are up there.
No.
We've got the Kings up there. We've got
I
the
don't care.
Pelicans
I
up
don't
there.
care if the Kings are third. They're not going to go past the first round.
All right, cinnamon challenge incoming for you, man. Let's see.
They're not. They might make playoffs, but they're not getting past the first round.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of some teams that need some respect, the Pelicans, we did shout them out because they were playing really well. They're on a 6-game losing streak right now. They've dropped to 4th. Big part of that is Zion.
They're still 4th.
They're still 4th. No, they're still up there. Big part of that is Zion's injury, obviously, but they do have Brandon Ingram coming back.
Yep.
Do you reckon he can kind of fill that void scoring wise, maybe a little bit, keep him up there?
A little bit. He's not got the same gravitas that Zion has.
That's fair.
And the same efficiency. And like Brandon Ingram has been off for so long that he's going to be on a minutes restriction. He's got to get the cobwebs off.
Yeah, he's been out for like 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Off like a toe sprain or something. Like
it's something minor, but it's enough to impact you.
But it takes time. Look, McCollum has been playing quite well. I've been pretty happy with how he's been playing. BI obviously will make the team better once he can get up and running. He again, not the same sort of gravitas and efficiency that Zion brings, but at least he's he's a bit of a I don't want to say unicorn, but he's a bit of an everything. You know, he can shoot, he can lay it up, he can midi. He's basically a KD light.
Yeah, I was thinking,
and I mean that as like a compliment.
Yeah, it's a respectful thing. It's not dissing him. So
I'm not. Yeah, I think if I was BI, I'd be, and I think he said in interviews like he models a lot of what he does off Kevin Durant.
I mean, that's a good person to model your game after.
They're pretty much the same body shape and
got that
build.
Length, got that shooting from mid range, from deep, from everywhere.
So, but yeah, no, I am hoping. Look, at least this gives him time. The Pelicans have time to try and integrate BI. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. Zion's only got a hamstring strain or injury, and he's going to get reevaluated. So hopefully, it's nothing that will keep him out too long.
Yeah, hopefully, like a couple weeks to absolute tops. So
because if this Pelicans team can keep BI and Zion and everyone else healthy, it's a really, really scrappy, young, potential-ridden team that I think could honestly surprise some people.
Yeah, it's really true.
I'm gonna be touting this. We've been touting this for years. I've been hoping for years, but I think that this team, like especially with Herb Jones, like he's just he's
up and coming.
He's a Beverly I can get behind because he's not a total bad word.
That's true. He's got the hustle without any of the bad attitude.
Exactly.
It's good to see.
All hustle and heart. It's none of this like getting in people's head in the worst way.
Like
and
Alvarado
people.
Too. They have heart on that team. It's great. It's good to watch.
So I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. I'd like to see Zion back. Obviously, like Zion's so electric.
Yeah, he's been very fun to watch. I think just
electric.
Just unique. Athleticism with that size is just crazy to watch.
Stop him.
Yeah,
they're doing Giannis walls to try and slow him down.
Yeah,
but they can't. You can't do that the whole game because you've got McCollum and BI now, and that's the thing that you either shut down. Unlike the Bucks, who don't have always the best supporting cast,
they've just got some role players.
Zion has all-star supporting cast.
100%.
McCollum and BI are not people that you can really afford to leave open.
Valanciunas too.
Valanciunas has had a couple of huge games.
Yeah.
Like I can't even believe I wasn't mentioning Valanciunas. Like that's the thing. Like you can put a wall up in Zion, and then you've got at least 3 to 4 other people that are proper threats.
100%.
Which, yeah, big. I'm hoping that the Pelicans turn things around. I would really like them to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Really, really quickly, just while we're on the West before we move on, Nuggets are in first still. Jokic still balling. Crazy efficiency. We've had some games where he hasn't missed a shot. I mean, we currently, just to check in, because we've got like to check in on the board every now and then. Our Hoopinions board of predictions for MVP. We've got...
I love it. Yep. We've got the predictions board. Yep, I love it.
We've got MVP for Harry. He said Tatum. For me, I've said Doncic.
Yeah.
Honestly... I feel like Jokic is looking more and more likely. I know.
Tatum was playing so well, and then the moment I mentioned his name, like Boston have just sort of been all over the place.
They're still top of the East, but they have not had that same just ferocity and intensity they started the season with.
Tatum hasn't looked that great since I said he should be MVP.
Yeah, he's been on and off. I think it's still up there. Like he's still a good lock. But do you reckon that we would see the same MVP 3 years in a row? Because I feel like the NBA likes to mix it up after
They do.
Yeah.
They definitely like to give you like your 2 in a row and then like you're sort of off the board.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that now Jokic's team is first.
Yeah.
Before he was getting it just off, he was like, his numbers are insane.
Yeah.
He
had crazy numbers, but his team was like 6th, I think, last season.
Yeah,
and
but
still got it.
But this time his team's first, and he's got the crazy numbers.
Yeah, and we know that the team does play a factor in it. So it's almost...
It's just one of those things, right, where he doesn't seem to have bad games at the moment.
He's consistent.
We have to check. Now, next week he's going to play terribly for the whole week. And
Curse of Hoopinions.
But unlike other people, right, like Embiid's playing good, but when have you seen, like, when was the last, like, highlight stat line you've seen from him?
I mean, he had one really big game, but he's not been... Like, we've seen so many games from Jokic that his stats are just like, what? You have to do a double take and just be like, what? How is he... what?
And again, and because Jokic doesn't get foul calls, right?
Yeah.
A lot of his, like, I would say 80 to 90% of his points are coming from him actually scoring.
That's really true.
And people don't, like, an Embiid gets, like, a good quarter of his points from free throws. And from, like, when people see an MVP, they want someone that's, like, actually dominating. And the problem is that Embiid falls over at, like, the flick of a wrist. Which is the way he plays, but it's dangerous, one. But two, like, yeah, he flops around like a dead fish. And it doesn't look tough.
Yeah. I mean, look, he is scoring at an insane rate, though, Embiid. He's averaging 33.4, which is only just behind Luka. He is dominant in that regard. So I think he's in the MVP discussion, but I would still put... I'd still put Jokic above him.
Outstanding. I don't know. He just kind of... But again, it's like he's averaging 33, but how many free throw attempts is he averaging?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not out. It's
he's not
amazing.
Controlling the game in the same way, because Jokic has that passing to go along with his scoring, rebounding as well. It's the whole package.
There's a whole lot of, like, relying on calls and free throws with Embiid, whereas, like, Jokic comes through and just dominate. Like, that's the thing. I think that's the difference. It's the eye test.
Yeah. Right.
We don't talk about the eye test very often, but if you were to pick between Jokic and Embiid, who would you pick?
Jokic.
Yeah. There's no, like, we watch the games, we watch the clips.
Yeah.
In clutch situations, did you see that 3-pointer that Jokic clutched in the other day?
Like a real janky looking one?
No, they were down by 2. And Jokic had the ball, and then he just took a step back 3 and nailed it and won the game.
He's a good decision maker. He will look, tough shots like that. You go, ooh, questionable, but he knows when he can hit those. He's got the shooting for it. But his passing as well, he's can see the whole court, I think, better than any player I've seen in a long time. I think at his size, which helps as well, he's eyes in the back of his head.
He drove through, he took a step in, saw he had a tiny bit of space, took a step back, smooth as a whistle.
Yeah.
Smoother than butter.
And
I don't see Embiid doing that.
That's MVP energy.
I just don't know. Like, he still has the media behind him. Like, people are still talking about, like, his efficiency and how. And honestly, this Nuggets team looks great this year.
Yeah.
What's his name? Gordon. Gordon. Aaron Gordon is is really fitting in with his role at being like number 2 or 3, and the Nuggets system suits him so well.
That's true. That was such a good move from him away from Orlando.
And I remember when he first got traded to the Nuggets, and he was like, "Oh, like, playing with the Nuggets is so easy. Like, I get such easy points.
Like, this is how basketball is meant to work? Oh,
like,
sweet.
Teamwork. Like, he doesn't have to... Like, in the Magic, he was just doing everything. But now he doesn't have to force... Like, he can just take good shots.
So true.
It's
so true.
Look, I'm really hyped for the Nuggets. I would really... They've always sort of played well during regular season or got by in regular season. They were almost like my Jazz.
Yeah.
They do well in regular season and just never really live up to expectations in the playoffs. But this I don't want to say this is their year, but I want to say this is their year.
Yeah, like this is their chance to prove it without the injuries plaguing them. Like,
everything seems to be running really well. Jamal Murray's back.
Yeah.
Who's the dude that broke his back?
Porter Jr.?
Porter Jr. I'm pretty sure he's playing at the moment as well. He's always a walking bucket.
Yeah. So they've really just been missing players due to injury or just pieces here and there each season. Still kind of drag themselves to the playoffs, but never quite made it.
Porter Jr. is out at the moment, but for personal reasons, not for injury reasons. So that's okay. But if this team can stay healthy, it's a bit like the Pelicans.
Yep.
I think that the Nuggets have got more to offer if It's always for them. It's always been a what if this person wasn't injured, or what if they had these 2 or 3 people not injured. It's always sort of been Jokic on his own, but now he's got sort of more of the supporting cast. And I think that's what elevates. Here's another thing. I think I've just thought of this on the fly, but it also what elevates him is like he's got all his good people back, and he still looks amazing.
Yeah, that is actually such a good point, because a lot of these guys that put up crazy stat lines, they've had other key players out, so they've compensated, and that's why they've been getting crazy lines. So the fact that he's still putting up these numbers with his team back, it's crazy. It's good to see.
So let's talk about the curse of Hoopinions, or the blessing of Hoopinions. I'm not sure which one it is yet. We need to make a nice little. We need to make like a nice little curse or blessed or.
I feel like we need a stamp.
Curse or
stamp our predictions with
cursed
blessed
or confirmed. Because I want to talk about the Chicago Bulls,
Mm.
and I'm not sure if we've cursed them or blessed them or called it. I don't know. I've never been more confused in my life.
Okay.
Because we started talking about the Chicago Bulls, how I think we ended up saying that maybe this year is the year that they sort of give it one more go, and if they can get Lonzo back, then they should blow it up.
Yeah.
I think you leaning more towards blow it up now, and me leaning a little bit more towards like see if you can get Lonzo back and then blow it up.
Yep.
And this team's just so confusing because they'll come through and they'll beat the Nets and the 76ers and the Warriors, but then they'll lose to the Thunder and the Pacers. They've lost to the Cavs. Then they'll go beat the Bucks, but lose to the Rockets. Like,
yeah.
What is with this team?
There's no consistency there.
What is I don't even know. Like DeRozan's playing like a crazy man. Like Levine's doing okay. Like at the end of the day, like we were pretty hard on Levine, but you know Levine's still doing okay. They've got Vooch. Like you know, Nikola. Like what is going on with this team? Like what? And they're fighting for 10th. Like they're fighting for play-ins.
Yeah.
But
I feel like a lot of their games are either just blowouts, and at that point they're too far gone, or they've had some games where it's come down to the clutch, and they've had some questionable clutch moments. I honestly cannot tell like how they keep having these, like, yeah, losing against the Rockets, losing back to back against the Knicks. Like it just I don't understand this team.
I'm confuddled.
I mean, part of it, I guess part of it is, yes, I guess some of the youngsters may be having just insane games. Because I know that like with the Rockets, like they've got Sengun, who's I think just hit his second career triple-double. So they've got some of these games where they've been going off. But is it defense? Is it defensively? I feel
there's
like
a lot of minuses on like I'm looking at the Rockets game. There's a lot of minuses on the plus minus. Like DeRozan went for 31 and Levine went for 22.
Yeah.
So that's like already like half, just under half. Like that's like they've done their job. It's the rest of the team isn't really carrying.
I feel like it's probably the absence of Lonzo, Caruso. Like, they haven't had the same defensive, I think, presence as we've seen when they kind of started this together.
Why didn't Caruso play? Is he hurt?
I'm not sure if he was hurt or if it was just that game that he was out.
Caruso.
But
the Rockets are playing the Rockets are intentionally, which leads us into the Rockets. So, there's nothing on the. Maybe he just didn't play that game, and then he's off the Ravens now. So, we've mentioned the Chicago Bulls. I've got no idea. We've got no idea. So if you like the Chicago Bulls, can you tell us like what the hell is going on? Because if you're fighting for a play-in, but then like they can beat good teams, it's just
they've had the potential to take some of them. Like we saw the Nets and the Sixers they beat. So yeah.
It's confuddling.
Yeah,
and we'll keep you in the loop. I like the Chicago Bulls. I just wish they would play well consistently.
Yeah.
They're making it hard to be a fan because they're not playing great.
No,
but. Sengun. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Is it
Sengun?
Sengun?
Sengun, yep.
What a player.
Yeah. I love the hype in like the league when even the players are getting excited for other players. I think that's encouraging because we've talked about, I think, Edwards before getting hype on this guy and then absolutely just baptizing him with a dunk. But
I've said this to you personally, at least he still tried to block him.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of people that get out of the way of posters.
That's true. But what I like to see with this as well is that the triple-double, he's getting some crazy numbers in assists too. like this is kind of the prototypical like modern big. Like we're seeing obviously Jokic, like, crazy good passing.
This man is probably the next coming of Nikola Jokic.
It's a big call.
That's a big call. I'm in.
Yeah, stand by it.
The problem is that the Rockets are tanking, so they're keeping him off purposefully. I'm praying. This is what I'm praying, right? I'm praying that they're purposefully keeping him off the court at important times so that they lose.
Yep. They're one of the tanking teams that's actually tanking.
I hope so.
Unlike the Jazz.
Because we're very confused. I think I'm hoping that the Rockets are just putting on this really good show, that they're really disappointed that they're losing.
Yeah.
And it's intentional, because otherwise they don't appreciate Sengun for what he is, and the Rockets coaching staff are terrible. There is no middle ground here.
Yeah.
It's either they realize that they got and I don't even want to say a diamond in the rough, but they got a diamond that people undervalued.
Yeah, I think it is intentional. I mean, they're sitting last in the West right now, and I think they want to stay there.
Praying.
They want those lottery odds. Obvious reasons, Wembanyama.
At the moment, they're sort of letting Porter Jr. and Green just ISO everything and take bad shots.
Yeah.
And I'm just... And every time they run the offense through Sengun,
the efficiency just kicks back up
they
again.
They score points. They could win games if they played Sengun at point center.
Yeah.
And if they ran the offense through him. And it just seems to be like they don't have much of an offensive scheme, especially when it comes to Jalen Green, who is supposed to be more of the franchise player. But honestly, I think you should be looking at Sengun, bro. This man is...
Yeah.
And he's 20 years old. He's playing absolutely insanely well. And I think that next year the Rockets should stop tanking and run it all through Sengun and get Porter Jr. and Green on some sort of efficiency training.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, obviously, Green's a good player. He's dropped some pretty big numbers this season at points.
He can score.
But the thing is, I feel like you see a lot of players like that. He's nothing special. Like,
not yet.
You see scorers like that all the time. He could honestly end up as like a Jordan Clarkson kind of player, like off the bench, just drop some buckets.
Doesn't do a lot of defense.
Yeah. So it's just, he's nothing special. But Sengun, I think, is unique.
And I think he's getting a little bit of protection because he was third? Was he second or third?
I think he was third, I think.
Yeah, third. Yeah. No, and then Jalen was second, right? Or third. No, yeah. Anywho, he's sort of getting protected because he was a very high first-round draft pick. Yep. But I would honestly, Sengun, I think, is the it player.
Yeah, I think you build around that. So, yeah, honestly, the Rockets, I think, are one of the most promising young teams.
They have, with Jabari Smith,
yep.
He's playing, his defense is awesome. His offense is coming. He's had some big games.
Yeah.
I think if they can imagine they got Wembanyama.
They'd almost have too many bigs then.
No. You know what you do, right? You put Wembanyama at the 5.
Yep.
Sengun at the 4.
Yep.
Let him run the offense. Then you can put Smith at the 3.
So run big, kind of Cavs last year, 3 bigs, yeah. Yeah, could work.
But or you put Sengun at the 1. Technically, he's the point guard.
That's true. We have seen occasionally the big actually run at the 1, so yeah, could happen.
Which he's have you seen those compilations of his passing? That man has Jokic level.
That's the thing. When you've got the height, the vision that you get at that size, and the ability to pass over players that the smaller guards don't have, I think it's a pretty good
handles, the vision. Yeah. He can shoot. He could score on the inside.
I think we're high on Sengun right now, so I think keep your eyes peeled for him.
It's just one of those things where this year, we're just gonna have to keep losing as Rockets. Well, I'm a Rockets fan, so we just have to keep losing and just hope that the lack of offensive schemes at the moment are due to the fact that they're intentionally trying to lose.
I think so, yeah.
Because if we try to win and we still have the same problem, then that means we have a terrible, terrible coaching staff. And that is something I don't want to think about at all.
That's true. That's fair.
At all. That would break my heart.
How are we going for time?
We're doing pretty good. We've got about 5 minutes left, which we don't normally put in the bay. You get to find out. We don't always keep an eye on the time. We just talk.
Because I think there are just 2 topics.
There's 2 topics
we got to touch on.
Nets and Golden State.
Yep.
Good boy.
So I think, do we quickly start off with the Hack-A-Claxton? Because I did like
Hack-A-Clax.
That was quite entertaining to watch.
Hack-A-Clax.
So quick context. Obviously, we know that Claxton's shooting percentage has not been good this year. It's actually gone down from last year. The Warriors...
I pulled up that stat. I'm so jealous that you already do that.
Yeah.
He's
got
down
it
to
locked in the mind bank.
he's down to 46%.
Yeah.
And he's usually, like last year, he was 58.
Yeah. So he's been above a 50% shooter, but now he's dropped this season. And teams have noticed this. The Warriors, I think, are the first ones to really go all in on this strategy, where they were absolutely... I mean, you watched the game. You were literally...
I was showing you clips. It was ridiculous. They would just come in and just straight away, like, they'd all just take turns. The Warriors would just take turns. Someone would grab his arm and just hold on to it. Because they were over the limit, so every single time a foul was called... And as long as they did the foul on Claxton, so they would just come up and grab his arm until the refs would call a foul, and then would send him to the line.
So they hacked him 15 times, of which he only made 6 shots.
Well, he had 15 attempts, right?
Yeah, 15
so that
attempts.
Means he got half of that fouled.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was hacked multiple times. But yeah, only 6 from 15 from the line. However, the Nets ended up winning that game by about 6 or 8 points, I think it was.
But the strategy worked. Sorry to cut you off there. The strategy stopped the ball getting into someone else's hands. Kyrie was getting very frustrated that he wasn't able to do anything. And I mean, especially
because he was cooking that game. He had like 38 points. So
the Nets were and then Kyrie especially threw a couple of bad shots to try and shoot it before they could foul Claxton.
Yeah.
So, and you look at his free throw attempts. Like normally he gets anywhere from like 2 to 6 normally. So him getting 15 attempts is an outlier, but it sort of comes down to like, look, it was disrupting the Nets a lot. They were really having trouble getting like that momentum going because
that's true actually.
It was a very momentum halting play because like they were sort of heating up and then they just kept taking out Claxton and Claxton would clank it at the line.
I mean, especially without KD there as like a second just offensive juggernaut, they're really like struggling to kind of have their offense run the same without him. So the fact that the Warriors disrupted them with all the
I love Claxton. I think he's great on defense.
Yeah.
I think that like look, I wouldn't say he's limited on offense, but he has a certain role on offense, which is more in the paint, more in transition, the lobs. Like he's not a complete center, but he does very well.
But I think it comes down to like obviously similar to Shaq, right? Like the Hack-A-Claxton work to points, but the benefits still outweigh the not losses. I mean, at the moment he's first in the league in blocks, 2.7 blocks a game. It's
pretty cool.
This is like higher than Gobert numbers. So I think defensively he's more than making up for it. He actually had 24 points in that game, so he still gets buckets regardless.
He's really stepped up this year.
Yeah, I think offensively, and this is a perfect segue. We have got limited time, but this is a segue into the next topic on Ben Simmons struggling, because I think part of the reason why he's starting to step up is because he's kind of having to, especially without KD and Simmons not being aggressive enough.
Ben Simmons still sucks.
And I know people talk about this a lot, and we're not doing this out of like a hateful point. This is just an analytical side. We've seen a lot of clips of him passing the ball under the rim again, him just being stagnant offense, standing around and almost being surprised when he gets the ball. And to be fair, a lot of this was against the 76ers, so obviously there's history there. It's a tough matchup for him. But, I mean...
Look, the only thing I'll say in his defense is that analytically, the three-point shot is valued higher than an inside shot. So if Ben Simmons gets past the ball in the inside and then he sees that there's a shooter open and he passes it to them, technically, from an analytical perspective, that's the right call. Technically.
I don't know if I even agree with you there, because efficiency-wise, threes and layups or dunks. The mid-range, of course, fair enough. But when he's right there, that's almost a 100% shot.
No, it's not. Not if he's got like 2 or 3 people in the paint.
There have been times where he's been mismatched with a small guard. Like he had like Ty Jerome on him at one point.
Yeah.
And literally like can just back him down bucket. Like.
But did he pass it to an open shooter?
That one he didn't. No, he just passed it back out to the perimeter.
Okay.
He was.
Those ones. Yeah. Those ones I'll say. Okay. Yeah, he should be. But there are some of these clips where he passes it to a completely open three-point shooter.
Look, okay, fair. And he honestly still has his passing. He still finds some guys in good spots. So, look, respect to that.
Isn't that what he did on Philly a lot? Like, he did have big games, but
the thing is, he's got the passing there, but he still needs to have the offensive threat. Without that, it's almost invalidates the. So, look, I'm hoping, honestly, I wish him well. I hope he gets back to that level. Early in the season, there was some improvement, but...
Do you think he wants to play basketball anymore?
I don't. It's hard to to try and judge someone's like mind state and things like that. But it's honestly not looking a lot like that because he's just so hesitant, so surprised when he gets the ball on certain plays. I think obviously you can nitpick and you take little clips and it makes it look worse, but as a whole, he's just not.
It just doesn't look like he wants to be there at times.
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of hate from the media and stuff,
like
so it's
going
tough too.
through the motions, and like I just don't know how you manage that like behind the scenes. Like, how do you tell him like, hey, stop? Like, I don't know how they manage that. That must be a really difficult situation because you see clips of Kyrie being like, shoot it, and like getting pretty.
Has to pretty much yell at him to actually get him to shoot. So, yeah. And look, I think, sport's as much of a mental sport as it is a physical sport. So, I think.
He's on a new team. I'm all about like taking that mental break. And he took that mental break and he's had a reset. He's on a new team. I just don't know what else.
Like, what else they can do?
What else can the organization do before you have to admit that Ben Simmons is turning into a bust?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the team has the support and stuff they need, but I think there needs to kind of be a time frame. Eventually, it's like, all right, we're not getting the results that we need because end of the day, it's a competitive field. Like, you need to have the results. So
ship him off to Indiana or something. I don't know.
Perhaps.
He's a very expensive person to be having confidence issues right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think the last thing we'll say is that even when Ben was playing well, I've never got that killer instinct from Ben, even when he was playing well.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because obviously different players have different play styles. Some of them more expressive than others, but
he's not a killer.
You never saw that competitive edge that some other players have, like that drive. And without that, I don't know how you can be successful. I just don't.
Yeah, I think Philly let him get away with things, but he never. It's like how he hasn't got a 3-point shot. I don't want to keep harping on about that because it's done. He's never going to have it. But you look at other players that come back from each off season and come back better and better because they've got that drive.
Yeah.
And the fact that Ben hasn't really taken any steps in the right direction from once he started. And look, he's still a good player. He's still an all-star. He's not an all-star now, but if he could get back to where he was, he's still an all-star.
If he reaches potential again, sure. Even without the 3,
Even without the 3,
yeah.
But someone with a killer instinct would have had the 3 by now.
Yeah, because you see players who just didn't have the efficiency go on off season, really work on it, and actually add it to their game.
Yeah,
like they come back and improve. So
someone that's cold and hungry.
Yeah, need that Kobe mindset.
Exactly, and I just don't think he has it.
Yeah, which is a shame.
He's an LA socialite.
He needs to go see the Jenners again or something.
Oh gosh, I think that probably didn't help.
No.
But thanks for listening to episode 38. It's Ben and Harry back in the studio. Well, we're not back in the studio. We're always in the studio nowadays. But
True. Thanks
for listening. Please like, subscribe, share. Check out our TikTok, which is Hoopinions. Check out our Instagram at Hoopinions_pod. And our YouTube, which I think is just Hoopinions.
Yep.
Check it all out. Give us a like, give us a sub, give us a subscribe, give us a share.
We appreciate it.
And tell us what you think. Is Ben Simmons a bust? Thanks. We out.
Stay tuned. See ya.